Hi, I'm Benji Hardy. I've got your news headlines for Tuesday, February 2nd. Leading the news, last night was the Iowa caucus on the Republican side. Ted Cruz locked up first place with about 27.6% of the vote, with Donald Trump finishing second at 24.3% and Marco Rubio close behind at 23.1%. It's on the Republican side, of course. Cruz needed to win Iowa in order to still be competitive. Considering his disciplined field operation in the state and his appeals to evangelical voters, losing Iowa would have been a real blow to his campaign. For Trump, though, a second place finish is a disappointment, and that's not just because he talks so much about winning all the time. It's also because many have speculated that Trump's poll numbers are a bit overinflated, and his supporters won't actually turn out to vote when push comes to shove. The most recent Iowa polls showed him beating Cruz, and that didn't happen. Still, Trump leads in the Republican field nationally by double digits and also leads in New Hampshire, so he'll likely make a strong showing there next week. Meanwhile, for Marco Rubio, the third place finish is considered a victory by many. He came almost within a percentage point of Trump's second place, and he now seems likely to consolidate his position as the Republican Party's only legitimate alternative to Trump and Cruz, who are both determined to blow up the GOP establishment. Meanwhile, the Democratic contender is effectively tied, with Hillary Clinton taking about 49.9% and Bernie Sanders securing 49.6%. It's a remarkable performance for Sanders, really, considering what a long-shot candidate he appeared to be just about a year ago. But nonetheless, Clinton is still the heavy favorite to win the nomination when you look at the national electoral map. Finally, Mike Huckabee announced he was dropping out of the race last night after earning less than 2% of the vote in Iowa. As the results came in last night, Huckabee took the stage saying, quote, "It's time to officially suspend the campaign, but not because of the votes, it's because of illness. Obviously, the voters are sick of me, and I need to acknowledge that." One other note related to Iowa, Matt Campbell, the crusading local blogger who runs Blue Hog Report, yesterday filed ethics complaints with the state's Ethics Commission against Treasurer Dennis Milligan and Attorney General Leslie Rutledge related to their campaigning activities for Huckabee in Iowa the past few days. Campbell alleges that Milligan and Rutledge violated the law by not being present at their state jobs on Thursday, Friday, and Monday in order to campaign. Spokesmen for Rutledge and Milligan both stated that the officials were on personal leave when they were campaigning in Iowa over the past few days. Moving on, the Arkansas Department of Finance and Administration this morning released its tax revenue forecast for the remainder of the biennium. Fiscal year 2016, which is the current fiscal year, is expected to see a 0.5% decrease in net available revenue compared to the previous fiscal year. In part, that's surely a result of tax cuts that were established back in 2013, some of which are only now coming into full effect. In fiscal year 2017, which begins this summer, the state expects net available revenue to increase by 2% above the current fiscal year. And for the current fiscal year, projected tax collections should fund all components of the state budget and provide a surplus of about $35.9 million. Now, that's worth noting about the surplus because those surplus funds are a key part of Governor Asa Hutchinson's highway funding plan, which he unveiled in January. Because the governor is determined to avoid any increase in fuel taxes, despite rock bottom prices for gasoline right now, he's dependent on surplus money in future years to fill holes in the state highway budget. Erica Suzuki, a former substitute teacher at Catholic High School for Boys in Little Rock, turned herself in this morning on a warrant issued by the North Little Rock Police Department for her arrest for sexual assault in the first degree. She pleaded not guilty to the charges. Back in October, Channel 7 reported that Catholic High reported an alleged inappropriate relationship between a student and a substitute teacher to the state child abuse hotline. Erica Suzuki is married to Paul Suzuki, the former chairman of the Arkansas Public Service Commission. So we'll be keeping an eye on that story as it develops. And finally, congratulations to the Oxford American, the Little Rock-based quarterly literary magazine of Southern writing. The Oxford American last night won a coveted National Magazine Award. It's the equivalent, roughly, of the Oscars in the magazine world. The OA won in the General Excellence Literature, Science, and Politics category. So big win for the OA. That's it for today. Back tomorrow.